We're glad you're watching Morning Express, Monday the 28th of April. And just if you're planning to get out of the house, the roads this morning, matatus at Juja bus station have blocked the way entering to JKUAT, Nairobi, heading to town, that is. Very good flow of traffic from Thika to Nairobi in other parts. Limuru Road, Iko fine, somebody else says. Very good flow from Buruburu, Jericho, and Makadara. So things are still good this morning.
Yes.
And did you see mist? Was it mist? What were you saying last week? Fog. It was a misty Mombasa Road in James part of Mombasa Road. But let's join Katrina Mantha now too. Don't look at, even if you look at me like that.
You will not live that down, James.
Yeah, that will stick with you. That mist will be. The Standard newspaper, so it's the big news in the Catholic Church and joy of Pope Sainthood. History as two former popes are made saints on the same day, event witnessed by two of their successors and over 500,000 pilgrims present at world event.
Yes. I was still looking at this picture. Sorry, I'm
Yes.
wanting to it. Yes, and then yes, just Pope Francis, just read this quote saying, "We declare and define blessed John the 23rd and John Paul II to be saints, and we enroll them among the saints, decreeing that they are to be venerated as such by the whole church." I was looking at this picture, and if probably would look at the picture of the Pope today, and maybe just do in the 90s, the Pope and the same. Just look at the hands of the people. They have cameras and their phones. Instead of living in the moment, they are taking the pictures. It just shows you how different things have changed. Today it's not just about living the moment; it's about sharing it
and capturing it
and capturing the moment.
Yes.
This
Selfies. You see him coming back and you're like, oh, there you
Selfies
go.
with
The
Pope.
Pope is here in the back, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings with it. I think that it's okay to try and capture those moments, but it's pushing it.
That's not pushing it at all. Honey, Obama. No, let's not even go there.
I think you need to. I mean, this is the Pope. I can imagine. For Catholics, this is a big, deal. And if you're this close, like inches close to the Pope, you might as well, touch his
Obama
cup.
should have taken a selfie with the Pope.
I know he should have.
A selfie, with the Pope.
Yeah, I would have probably taken a selfie, the Pope in the background, but yeah.
I don't know who I'd want to fight to take a selfie. And I know who I would, but I'm not going to say it.
So this, really?
Yes.
We'll take a selfie. We'll relax. I will give you that opportunity.
Oh,
but
God.
But it also shows how he's such a people person. I think
He is.
This picture is so, he's with the people. I think he's one of the popes who are just lovable, I guess.
Well, the difference about him, from what I think we've read and what he's brought into the church, the other popes have been, they've gotten into the papacy and, tried to say, well, there's a place and space for everyone else, but here is strictness, and the church and the responsibility moves forward. He seems to take it all in style, he says, well, I'll do the other things that are supposed to, but hey, come on, I'm people's person, and I mean, he's Pope Francis, talking about the poor. He used to be known, the bishop of the slums, from whatever. So he's trying to say, I mean, the people, my JD, my overall job description is to be with the people. So I think he brings something different to this, and I think the church absolutely needed him, from the issues, of the sex scandals, homosexuality,
which he has weighed in on.
Yes, condom use, and all these things. I think the Catholic Church, needed someone like him, to engage in a conversation that everyone is engaging in.
That's real.
Yes,
exactly.
and try and offer a solution and say, well, maybe we can't change, but we can listen to you. Let's listen to what you people are saying.
And I think we're cognizant of the challenges and what's happening in the world. So refreshing. Read more about what that means also for the Catholic Church on page 4. But how tourism has changed the face of Kenya is a story that begins on the front page. You can read more the details on page 2 and 3. And I don't know if you guys, of course, have perhaps gone through this, even now with the checks as you go to the malls, the bonnets. They'll open your doors,
So your car has to be clean at all times.
It has to be clean at all times.
Yes, Catherine, cars to be clean.
Oh, yeah.
There was one time I was at Lifestyle and he wanted to look into my car and I was like, please don't.
Yeah?
It was so dirty. But it has
changed. And even getting into, we've seen on this picture on page 2, getting to the PSVs as well. Everybody upping their game.
Well, I mean, if you, this is, I mean, it's just an interesting thing for us to see, how probably 4 years ago, it was just, you'd walk into any other place, with one guard, and just move on. But now, if you look at the economic side of it, now a place that used to have one guard now has 5 guards. So that, has changed the way we look. I mean, it's definitely the security issues, cannot be taken lightly. And you have to agree and see that, we have, made quite interesting steps, in how we take over security, how we plan ourselves around, and I think it can only get better.
Yeah, and I think Kenyans are also getting with the times. I mean, it's gone are the days when somebody pinches someone's nose allegedly for checking their handbag. I mean, now Kenyans are willing to check. And, if you're going somewhere, you always have to factor in. If you're going to the airport, you have to factor in the security checks. If you're going to somewhere, you have to factor in security. It's part of our lives now, which is a bit scary because now we're becoming, it's almost like a police state because everywhere there's a check.
There's a check. But I like the improved checks that are more real than before where, just before you get in, it's just that mirror thing, underneath your car and that's it.
Yeah.
I like when they open Mecca. I like when, it will take some time, but it gets a sense of at least everybody will,
be safe.
Be a little bit careful about what they're doing. And there's more coverage of how Costa suspects planned a big prison break on page 5.
Yeah.
I used to like Prison Break. That's on a side note.
And yes, just on that, Pangani explosion suspect runs a football club in the slum. Yes, so this is called Abdul Hajira. He went missing in 2010, and when he got back, he is a son of a Kenya Defence Force officer based at Kahawa Garrison in Nairobi, and left the Premier League club to start his own football club in Majengo slum. Hajira's father told police his son disappeared for more than a year and resurfaced last year to finish his Bachelor of Commerce degree at University of Nairobi. See, this is what I don't understand.
Disappearing for a year.
Not just that, but between 2009 to 2013, in Majengo slums and many other places in this country, people just woke up, left, disappeared, then they showed back, just like that.
Yeah.
And these are the sleeper cells that anyone and authority should be on, because if someone just wakes up and vanishes, then he comes back, we should be on to that someone and their families and figure out where has this person been. Certainly in the UK and the US, they would do this. They would spend much of their resources
looking for this guy.
So we have guys who just showed back and then they're like, oops, Sophia's
You're back. Welcome back.
We can't do that.
That's worrying. That is very worrying. But also, the story that we just watched from Catherine, amazing piece.
Thank you.
Scars of War, and there's continued coverage on the Standard as well. Woes of family soldiers returning from war in Somalia. So other than those who are killed and the trauma and what the families go through, then there's those who come back.
Yes.
And what they've seen, it's insane,
It's a war. I mean, the second installment will be about the soldiers tonight, and one soldier said that he went in and he thought it was a movie, but then he realized, once he heard the bullets, he realized this is real. It's because for a long time, we were just doing peacekeeping, we were just training in the barracks. We were never engaged in battle. So for these guys, it's shock. And there's post-traumatic stress disorder. There's so many issues plaguing the soldiers who came back from Somalia that needs to, attention needs to be given.
Yeah, and also the lack of compensation, breaking up of families, because this war, because I know people who are at war, it affects them too in such a big way that many times they're forgotten, but they're also in the motions of this war, whatever is affecting them, they're constantly in this fear and worry. And when this person comes back, sometimes they're totally different.
And then there's also this feeling that they're secluded, like they're a community in their own, because it's like the country's moved on. The country's like, oh, we're doing our own things, but we forget that we sent people there, and we forget that these people are human, and that they feel like it's just them and they're in it alone, kind of.
Stuck in it. Yes, I think this is hopefully and part of what we should do. The media, just to give that point Somalia, a face and a voice and names, because I think in our journalism also that's not what we do so well, but this would help, because at the time, when they say 33, who have been killed, they're just numbers. Until those 33, you can see their fathers, their sisters, their faces, and tell you about their personal struggles. Then we can share and relate to this.
Okay. It is a story I'm tired of seeing. A headline is the one on page 8.
Banfongilu?
Yes. I honestly think this is just ridiculous that it continues to play out. Security organ wants urgent steps to taken to end Ngilu Sazuru feuds. I mean, you're like, really?
Yeah, it's too long. It's been too long.
Just the other day, you're the one who was talking about, the president, stepping in,
and that's the thing. He keeps coming in, and then we hear Kimemia saying somebody else. What was this? The chief of staff?
Yes.
He should weigh in. I mean, it's just crazy that all this is happening, and there seems to be no political will.
But actually, at the center of this is what I would call, what was this? The fellows who want constitution to work and those who don't.
So this is that kind
so
of...
who doesn't want it to work?
I mean, a lot of people who don't want constitution to work.
The enemies of
constitution. The enemies of constitution. I mean, honestly though, the NCSC, Swazuri's Land Commission, was put there by, if you like, the civil society, all right? And the point was, the National Lands Office is such a humongous body that, if you look at the history of this country, since the first president, he could walk you in and make you, Sofiana, today, an owner of 30,000 acres of land, just by a presidential signature. Today, the president cannot do that. Whether he likes it, whether he loves you, feels you, whatnot, he can't do that. So that's why we remove that function from the authority of
the land ministry.
Of the lands ministry, the executive per se. So we put on a commission that would say, these people should be the ones who adjudicate on land, allocate land, look at all the lands, issues in the country, and you say, well, you got your land illegally and whatnot. That is the function.
Okay.
So now that we have this, that's when I have people who are trying to make sure that this lands commission is, works under Ngilu. That way, then we get back to what we had before. So that is the problem.
But then we can actually call her enemy of the Constitution.
Exactly.
She should really do her job and move away from things of title deeds and the commission and all that.
It will not only be her.
And also because she was put in that place from the very beginning.
And it was such a controversy
in the beginning. It was so controversial and had to be strategically.
Purposefully for that.
Personally, I smell a rat. I mean, you can't have a wrangle going on for a year without nothing happening underneath.
Yeah, you can already feel that.
Yeah.
But very quickly to the Daily Nation, because we need to get you to your sports review soon. Remember this crazy Monday. What is that headline? Big, bam, and calves. Crazy. Weird things. Look at this cat. Weird things women do to have curves.
But to be honest,
I like how you're holding it up. Like, everybody look at this.
Nowadays, the shape of women is just one constant.
You're like,
it's like a pear shape, and it's like all women are pear-shaped.
Is that what you socialize?
No. You cannot peg this on men. You cannot.
Do they go to Karen Hospital maybe to have some extra pears added onto
this needs a conversation of its own.
Yes.
Something has happened in the last 5-10 years that we have no idea. This was not how Kenyan women. I'm not saying that Kenyan were not curvy before, but all of a sudden, all you people.
So why does everyone have to be woo?
Yeah,
bang in the bed?
I think it's enhanced.
I should ask you guys.
Personally, it's enhanced. I mean, I think most of them are playing a Kim Kardashian kind of thing.
Yeah, and when you see the likes of that girl, that socialite, who I don't want to mention her name, on this particular very serious segment, even bleaching themselves, it's bad for what precedent that's been set for the younger.
It is. I mean, twerking on TV, it's crazy.
Well, you should do a show on twerking. Daily Nation, envoy called in drag all mystery deepens. And you have here, Kimayo says, police were not briefed on Australian Navy seizing narcotics as details of operation remain sketchy.
Well, what did they need to be briefed? I mean, it was...
I know.
I don't understand. Well, the Australian, they say, well, for us it's very simple. If we give any Kenyan authority or the police or anything and into this, then it would have been leaked and the operation would have just gone haywire. So, hey, we just did the job and moved on.
Yeah.
I understand why we are lamenting on this.
But I think that something needs to be done for us, us being at the conduit in this drug trade. It's too much.
But it's 20 billion,
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, page 5, Cabinet okays growth in budget. That's ministers sit on Sunday to peruse estimates and promise that the cost of living will go down. I mean, that needs to become a reality. Most Kenyans seeing that would be like, yeah, we actually hope it does happen. And also a story that Kalonzo has been told to quit over remarks that he made. To quit politics.
I mean, that was a very...
But he's quitting politics. Let's just say he's been quiet. This thing brought him back on, this remark. So,
after we asked where he was.
Yeah. Oh well, war against radical Muslims frustrated. Government accused of being slow to deal with fairy teachers, and that's on page 6. Because many at times these people that have been accused of radicalizing the youth are known. And so, claims that why is there so much violence associated with Muslims and Islam? That's a question posed there by Mandara Senator Bilokero.
Indeed, and Kiir blames foreigners for South Sudan rebellion. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has claimed that foreigners who helped the country attain its independence are now backing rebels in the bloody conflict that has killed thousands since December last year.
I think I would probably pose the question to the two of you.
Right.
I mean, we've sent 300 soldiers to Sudan, but Uganda has had a problem in Sudan. But I think the question is it peacekeeping or peace enforcement that we're looking for in this particular case? It's because peacekeeping, what are we keeping? There's no peace that we're keeping in South Sudan.
True, it was before. Now it's really, a whole different question.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, and the more we get involved, I think, with that not clear boundaries and setting clear timelines and saying, well, this is what our forces are coming to do, then we're just enhancing the problem. We're not getting rid of the problem.
Yeah.
So yes, we either get involved and then it will become this whole long, murky conversation that will never end. Yeah. So I think, that's right. We should figure out where we're sending our forces there to do what exactly.
But have you noticed that Uganda seems to be taking our place in terms of the regional peacekeeper? Uganda seems to be, on it now.
They have it all together. I mean, you have to give it to them. They have it all together. I mean, the administration is, focused on what they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, now as we, pinky-ponky at times. Yeah.
Pinky ponky. The Star today, Somalia protests arrests of diplomat, ambassador recalled after official held, is what they're headlining with. And there's Langata prison there. Fire destroyed houses. It's the headline picture.
And police officers on Saturday raided the controversial Masjid Musa in Majengo and pulled down a signboard that renamed the mosque as Masjid Shahada or Martyrs Mosque.
And Anglo leasing is back.
So the one to remain as Masjid Musa. Okay. Anglo leasing conversation back as well. Court had said they would be against those payment calls. The AG has come out strongly to say that they need to get out of this cycle of court processes and making payments and just settle this thing.
Right, so, I mean, as to probably we'll discuss in the way it is. Code Jubilee race for governor council seat. So Code is apparently now pushing for, Isaac Ruto, while Jubilee is pushing for Evans Kidero to be chairman. What is this?
Politics. Exciting politics. Of course, grab yourself a copy of the Standard newspaper. There's that interesting Crazy Monday pull-out. Should make your Monday, especially interesting conversations over tea break in the office and all. And stay with us right here on Morning Express, because in a short while, Nick Mudimba will join us and a little bit of the sports review. What's been happening?
It is.
Yeah.
Take a short break. When we come back, we'll be taking all matter sports.